Hey guys, my name is Rebecca and I am Rebecca Y on MuseScore. Today I'm going to be doing a little Q&A session, as many of you on MuseScore might know. And unfortunately I've decided not to do a face reveal, just for the sake of internet safety. I guess you're stuck watching me play 2048 for however long this video is. But I mean, here's a censored version of my face anyways, just so you know what I kind of look like. And I guess you could compare that to my MuseScore profile pic, you definitely see the resemblance, right? But I mean, at least you know what I sound like now, so yay, I guess. I hope my voice isn't cringy. I really hate my voice, so honestly, editing this is painful. Yeah. That said, thank you so much for 1,000 followers. It really means a lot. I started off as just another random newbie composer on MuseScore that nobody knew. And some of you might even remember the days in 2017 when, I was so desperate for followers that I was literally like spamming my scores in groups at least several times a week. So yeah, I mean, I didn't realize it was annoying until much later. So sorry about that. To the people whose dashboards I demolished. My goal at the time was 50 followers, so thank God I reached that. It spared both your dashboard and my time, so yay, win-win situation. But boy, I have 1,000 followers now, dang. All your encouragement and feedback has played such a huge role in helping me learn and grow as a composer, and without you guys, I never would have been able to come this far. Who knows, I'd probably still be making pieces using only 3 chords and thinking I'm a genius for coming up with them. Yeah. So again, thank you guys so much for 1,000 followers, and without further ado, let's get into the Q&A. First off, we have a question from I'm John, and it is, what is the worst thing about composing for you? The worst thing for me about composing is probably how much time and energy it takes. In all honesty, it's probably one of the most time-consuming things I've ever done. Sometimes I'd just be like, let me just write down this small idea I have, it wouldn't take long. And then afterwards I look at the clock and bam, it's been 3 hours, and now I don't have time to do my homework. So I'm super busy with school and other stuff, I literally have to avoid composing just because I know that if I start and actually get inspiration for something, I will not be able to stop. And that's why my uploads come so slowly while school is in session, which is kind of frustrating actually. And it really doesn't help that I'm one of those people who likes to finish pieces in one go instead of splitting them into small chunks for each day. And most of the time I don't even have a huge block of time sitting there for me, just to compose. So that really sucks, I guess. And next we've got a couple of people asking about what I want to do in the future. I'm actually really interested in psychology and just anything psychology related or, just brain related, especially abnormal psychology. So I'd say my dream career path would be to get into medical school and specialize in psychiatry. Actually, not even I'd say, my career path is to go to med school and specialize in psychiatry. That stuff is just freaking interesting, okay? It's so interesting. Anyways. Next question is, what is your credit card number? I mean, how do you get inspired to compose and then develop such complex pieces? Well, I don't have a credit card. I do have a debit card though, but I'm not giving you a number for that either. And that's for the musical aspect of your question. I got my inspiration from a lot of different music, especially on channels like Epic Music World, HD Sound, I think it's called something like that. 2 Steps from Hell, Asian and anime style piano pieces, and even some people on MuseScore. As to how I get the ideas themselves, I usually hear them in my head as I'm writing them down. Usually the only thing I have planned before I actually start composing is what general feel I want to give the piece and the general idea of how I want to start it, and the rest just comes pretty naturally to me. But unfortunately this type of flow doesn't happen as often as I'd like, so in the case that I can't come up with anything that isn't super cliche or predictable, I consider myself to have composer's block and I'd usually step away from the computer just so I can come back at a better time. Next is, what is the best song or piece you have written? My favorite composition actually depends on the day, but for the most part, I would say my best piece to date would be Ember, which is about to play right now. There's that. I also really like A Ray of Hope, which was the piano piece that just played before this, and then I'm also really fond of my piece Dawn, which is a piece for piano and strings that I wrote about a year ago. But generally, if let's say if someone asked me, oh, you write music, what do you write, can I hear something, I would generally show them Ember just because it's kind of my flashiest piece. and also for the most part it's my favorite. But I also hope it's not going to be my favorite piece for much longer because I would have composed another piece that I like better, hopefully. I mean, I've got several projects going right now, so hopefully at least one of them is going to turn out to be something I really, really like. So yeah. Next question. If you were a turkey, what would you be stuffed with? Well, no one said I had to be a dead turkey, so I'll be an alive turkey, thank you very much, and I'll be stuffed with very healthy turkey organs so I can live a happy turkey life. Is RSA a cult? I mean, you are our queen and we try to take over MuseScore. If we are, does that mean we need to have rituals? For those of you who don't know what RSA is, it stands for Randomly Screwing Around, and it's a group on MuseScore that I own. I made this group 2 years ago, and since then it's actually managed to blow up quite a bit. It's actually become the world record holder for most discussions, i.e. threads, in a public MuseScore group. And it's pretty neat. It's got a great community, and like, it's really active, it's got a lot of people, and it's a cult. Anyways, as you can see, our rituals are laid out quite clearly, and not following them will result in this. So as you can see, it's very important to be a good member of RSA because getting banned from that group will definitely wreck your life. Yeah, I'm being real serious here, guys, don't test me. And if you've now decided that RSA isn't a group for you and you're not going to join, well, you suck. Let's move on to the next question, shall we? Would you rather have peanut butter shoved up your nose or a giant waffle glued to your legs? Well, I actually thought about this one longer than I'd care to admit, but in the end I'd say I'd rather have peanut butter shoved up my nose. It's just because having peanut butter shoved up my nose will probably just feel like a cold, but then the idea of having something really sticky and slimy stuck to my legs is just ugh. What did you think when RSA started getting more and more people in the group? Could you believe it? For those of you who don't know, I made RSA originally because I wanted to talk to some friends I'd made on Discord in August of 2017, but my parents kicked me off. So that group was actually originally for just some of my MuseScore friends at the time. So when it started getting more and more members, especially in March of 2018 when that rebellion happened, I could not believe it, honestly, because suddenly this group that I made was all over the community page. It was everywhere. Everyone, like, so many people were joining. Not to mention it was literally so active that there was a discussion in there that got 250 comments in 22 minutes. Not even exaggerating. I ended up deleting it because there was too much spam, but yeah. So it was interesting. Would you rather have legs the size of fingers or fingers the size of legs? To be honest, I have absolutely no idea, because like I've seen this Would You Rather question in other places before, and like I swear every single time my answer is different, but for the time being, I feel like I'd rather have legs the size of fingers, just because like I use my fingers a lot more in my daily life than my legs. Like I'm sort of a couch potato, so like I don't really use my legs for anything other than to like walk places, but like on the other hand for fingers, I use it for typing, for like basically anything I do, playing the piano, you name it. I hope life in a wheelchair isn't too hard, and neither is going to the bathroom. So yeah. Alright, next question. What is your favorite color? My favorite color fluctuates quite a bit, but for the time being, I think it's blue or purple. Is there any other hobby that you use to express your creativity other than music? If so, what hobby and how do you do so? I don't do this that often anymore, but I do like to draw comic strips. I'm not a great drawer, like I draw really badly drawn stickmen just because I don't actually have the patience to like make every frame look decent. I kind of mainly just do it for the jokes. Here's something I made 3 years ago. I mean, I do have more recent comics, but like, it's the only one I have saved on my computer, so yeah. And for those of you wondering, yes, this was drawn using MS Paint. I'm not very well versed in digital drawing tools. Advice for people who are interested in composing. First of all, let me just get across that I am not a professional composer. For the past few years, I've just been composing by fiddling around and just seeing what sounds nice. As for advice, if you're someone who's new to composing, I would suggest learning a little bit of basic theory first. It doesn't have to be a lot of theory, like basically all you need to know is like what major and minor scales are and what notes are in them, and maybe how diatonic triads are constructed. And once you have that stuff down, you can start maybe taking 3 or 4 chords and trying to improvise a melody. And it should get more and more natural over time, and eventually you'll be comfortable enough to branch out and use more complex chords and melodies. I know I still have a long way to go with composing, but I mean, that's how I started, and it worked pretty well for me, so maybe it might work for you too. If you could remove any instrument section from an orchestra, which section would it be? I know a lot of people are probably going to be mad, but maybe tuba, just because there's usually only one of them, if any at all, and other instruments can play low notes too, I guess. Favorite brand of ketchup? I don't eat ketchup that often, nor do I like it that much, so honestly, I'm not sure. Alright, and this one's kind of long, so I'm just gonna keep this here while I answer them. I think techno is okay. I wouldn't listen to it on my spare time, but like, it's okay. My favorite video game would have to be Mario Kart Wii. I played it most when I was like really young, but like I still play it occasionally sometimes, and like it's still pretty fun. I have all the trophies you can get, and I have all the characters except for the me, like the second me thing. I forgot what it's called, but yeah. As for pixel art, I'm not that familiar with pixel art. I'm guessing it's that kind of art style you'd see in maybe Undertale. Um, I guess it's pretty cool, but like I'm just not really familiar with it. I think it's nice, I guess. My favorite movie would have to be Inside Out from Disney, and my favorite book series would have to be The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Mayer. And finally, we're on to the last question. And I got a comment on how formally this is written. I can imagine you probably get a really high English mark. But anyways, the question is, as exciting as the years ahead of you may be, reminisce on your musical journey from 0 to 1,000 followers. What were some of the most memorable moments? If you were to imagine yourself as 0 follower Rebecca again and look at where you have come, what would you think? Let's just start off by saying that I did not expect to reach 1,000 followers, so thank you so much for that. I've definitely come a long way since I first joined MuseScore. For one, I've definitely gotten a lot better at composition, and I feel like MuseScore definitely like accelerated the rate at which I improved, because I could draw inspiration from the people who were already on there before me and who were making a lot of good music. Like, for example, there's a user called The Night Reader who is MuseScore of the month of April 2017, and as soon as I saw her piece Storm Clouds, like holy crap, I was mind blown, and I followed her immediately. And even today, a lot of my music is inspired by that piece. So huge shout out to The Night Reader. Thank you for inspiring me. I love all your other pieces too, but Storm Clouds was like, dang. Yeah. So stumbling upon her profile was probably one of the more memorable moments of my time on MuseScore. Others would definitely be my first favorite, my first follower, my first comment, stuff like that. I remember one time in May of 2017, I received a comment on my score called Memories that from Hedgehog. I forgot the number after her username, but or their username. I'm not sure their gender. But anyways, they said they'd been playing my piece all afternoon with the recording, and I was so happy. Like, before that, I never really replied to comments, but like I really just had to reply to that one just because it made me really happy. And then after that, I guess that was the start of me replying to comments. That said, seeing all your guys' nice comments on my scores, they're always really encouraging for me, and they always make me really happy. Like, sometimes after a long day, I'd come home, I'd check MuseScore, and I'd see that someone had listened to my piece and posted a comment, and sometimes I could just like make my whole day, especially if they're telling me that I or my music inspired them in any way, because that's really just my main goal with my music, to inspire others. So just knowing that other people have drawn inspiration from my music, it really means a lot. So yeah. And also, I just realized I said that these comments make me happy like a million times, so yeah, sorry about the repetitiveness. Yeah. Anyways, other memorable moments would probably include chatting with Clarinet, who's now changed her username to Ruby Liz. You might recognize her as the second admin of RSA. But yeah, she was actually my first MuseScore friend. We talked about a lot of stuff, mainly about like pop music and synesthesia, since we both have synesthesia, so that was cool. And then there was also when, I don't know how to say his name, but it looks like Kelthian. It's French though, so it's probably pronounced something like Celtian. I don't know, I really suck at French, so if you're watching this, please don't judge my accent. But anyways, he created a Discord server and invited me, and that was actually how I discovered Discord. So we messaged each other in his server and like through PMs for about maybe like a week, 2 weeks, and then my parents found out and kicked me off, and so I made a group just so I could keep chatting with him and everyone else I was chatting with in his server, and that group was RSA, and yeah, that was basically how it all started. So yeah, that was, I guess, a turning point, because I still use Discord, and RSA is still really active, so I guess even though I was salty that my parents kicked me off at first, it actually resulted in a good thing, so I'm happy I got kicked off because otherwise RSA wouldn't have existed. Anyways, I feel like other memorable moments on MuseScore would just include some of the drama that went on in and outside of RSA. There was in early 2018 when there was a group called Lone Brony who plagiarized my piece and a lot of other people's pieces. We were all really salty. Eventually their YouTube channel and their SoundCloud channel and, well, SoundCloud account and just about everything they had to post music got taken down. So we were pretty happy with that, even though we were still salty that they stole our music. But yeah, there was when Dukas blew up RSA. He's a troll, by the way, for those of you who don't know. There was another creepy troll called Musix. If you don't know the story behind him, you can read about that in RSA's history. I'm just not going to go into detail because that'll probably take way too long. So yeah, other than that, memorable moments would probably just be when I hit a certain number of followers and I'm always really happy and I upload a piece, celebrate it, and it's always really exciting. If I were to look at my current self from my 0 follower perspective, like I said, I never expected to hit 1,000. I did originally anticipate that I would get several hundred followers because I gotta admit I had a pretty big ego and I thought composing was something only prodigies did, and I thought I was just a prodigy basically, and I thought that if people saw that, wow, a 15-year-old girl is composing her own pieces, they would just follow me. But nope, it turns out that there were a lot of people who were a lot younger than me who were like 50 times better, and I was still using chords and making really simple melodies and stuff like that. But on the bright side, I did learn to branch out a bit and experiment more, so I'm a lot better than I was 3 years ago, which is good. But when I saw how slowly my follower count increased, I thought, you know what, hitting 100, that's just never gonna happen. I just want to hit 50, and eventually I did hit 50, so I was really happy about that. And I was just like, you know what, I don't know how far I'm gonna get, but let's just see how far it goes. And then I eventually hit 300, 500, 800, and I mean, here I am at 1,000 now. It's still kind of weird sometimes thinking about how I actually have 1,000 followers on MuseScore. Like I said, I never expected to come this far. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everyone for following me, for supporting me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say this is gonna be the end of this video. I'm sorry that this video took so long to make. I have school and a lot of other things that's going on and it's really stressful. It's hard to find time, or especially a huge block of time, to do stuff like this because, like I said earlier on the video, I like doing things in large chunks instead of a little bit every day. So it's kind of hard to find the time. I'm also aware I didn't get to every single question that was asked. Basically, just in order to keep the video short, I only answered one question per user. So if you asked multiple questions, I only answered one. And if your question was a bit too personal, I just chose not to answer it. Please don't feel offended if I didn't answer your question. It's just personal preference. With that aside, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment what you thought because this took a really long time to make, and I really hope you had the patience to watch this thing. Like, holy crap, it's 18 minutes long. I did not expect that. I thought it was just gonna be like, 7-8 minutes. So yeah, thank you for watching if you made it to the end, and thank you for all your support. Even if you're not from MuseScore, like if you're from Quora or just on YouTube, thank you too. And to finish off, here's a preview of my 1,000 follower special. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for me to compose this thing, so here's just a snippet. Just gotta cut that off there just because I don't want to spoil too much of the piece. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day and bye!